Chapter 1 Wealth Conversion System. Year 2009. Handong University, Jingzhou City, Handong Province. Brother Qian, wake up, you're going to be late for class. Today is the Vice Dean's class, but you have to take attendance. Pei Qian woke up from his sleep, rubbed his eyes, and wondered who was calling him. Isn't the one-bedroom apartment I'm renting? Who came to my room? When he opened his eyes, a long face almost occupied Pei Qian's entire field of vision. Ma Yang? Pei Qian was stunned and almost thought he was dreaming. Hurry up, I woke you up. You can't blame me if you missed the roll call. Ma Yang's long face quickly left Pei Qian's sight, turned around and hurried out of the dormitory. Wait, bedroom? Pei Qian suddenly woke up, stood up from the bed and stood up. University dormitory, 6-person room. He was still in the lower bunk next to the door. He still remembered that in the winter, the door was not closed tightly, and there was a small crack that always let air leak in. For this reason, Pei Qian complained a lot in those days. The only two buddies left in the room were also packing their things and heading out immediately. Hurry up, Brother Qian. If you run a few steps, you can still catch up. Otherwise, we won't dare to shout for you when your name is called. It would be terrible if the Vice Dean catches you. The two roommates also hurried out. Pei Qian couldn't help but slap himself twice. Hiss, my cheek hurts. Really or not, isn't this when you were in college? The Deputy Dean's class also took roll call, that's the freshman. Year 2009? Wouldn't that be back 10 years ago? Pei Qian was anxious for a moment, and then quickly accepted this fact. After graduating from college in 2013, he moved between two industries and many companies, encountered extremely cheating leaders, and experienced intrigues in the workplace. In short, a social animal. Of course I am overjoyed to encounter such a good thing as time travel. Being able to go back 10 years and start over again is something that many people dream of. Pei Qian lost all sleep and rolled over from the bed to sit up. What to do next? Do you want to report the situation to the Space-Time Management Bureau? I won't be shot dead on the spot or silenced, right? Or, the first thing after traveling through time is to go to class? Are you crazy? The memory of 10 years ago has been very blurry, but Pei Qian still reluctantly remembered that he skipped many classes in his freshman year, including the Deputy Dean's class, but he did not fail in the Deputy Dean's class. Although the Vice President said he was calling the names, he never actually called them. On the contrary, there was a young male teacher who seemed to be very kind and friendly. He never called the students by name, but suddenly called them once at the end of the semester, and it was also included in the test scores. I don't want to call names, I just want to get to know everyone. That's what he said. Now that Pei Qian thinks about it, he still feels like he was tricked deeply. After all, he was still too young at that time and had full trust in this kind-hearted teacher. At this moment, a transparent light curtain suddenly appeared in front of Pei Qian, and lines of writing were displayed continuously. The wealth conversion system is binding to the host. Binding successful. Host, Pei Qian. The host, please read the instructions for use of this system. What's the situation? Pei Qian was startled and then fell into ecstasy. Sure enough, there must be a system after time travel. This is the golden finger. Calm down, this is all routine, nothing to make a fuss about. Pei Qian quickly calmed down and began to observe the text information on the light screen. Wealth conversion system. Profit/loss conversion ratio, to be determined. System funds, 50,000. Personal property, 443. This is a universal template. Under the general template, there is a special dialogue-like area to display some dynamic information, which should be the usage instructions. Wealth conversion rules. Every once in a while, the system will provide the host with a certain amount of system funds, which can only be used for the company's normal business activities and cannot be squandered. Settlement will be carried out after a period of time, and the surplus or loss relative to the system funds will be converted into personal property at your discretion according to a certain proportion. Special note: in order to encourage the host to focus on work, the host cannot directly pay himself/herself salary through the company account. Next step: view detailed rules. Oh? This system is so profitable. You provide me with funds and give me money? System of conscience. Pei Qian instantly understood the function of this system. Although the system funds and personal property here are both money, they are two completely different concepts. The personal property shown here is 443, which means that the total money Pei Qian currently has is only 443 yuan. These are all money that he can freely use. That 50,000 yuan is the system's funds. According to the system, the money can only be used for business activities, such as opening a company. After a period of time, regardless of whether he makes money or loses money, the corresponding part will be converted into personal property according to a certain proportion, and then Pei Qian can spend it as he wants. Exciting! Take a look at the detailed rules. Pei Qian continued to click on the light screen to view. The host must engage in normal, reasonable, legal, and technical business activities. The following behaviors are all violations, please pay attention. Earnings category. 1. Large-scale real estate purchase and real estate speculation. 2. Purchasing digital currencies, participating in Ponzi schemes, illegal fundraising, and other illegal activities. 3. Speculation, reselling of materials, and disrupting market order. Click to expand the remaining 97 violations. Loss category. 1. Do charity, or transfer company property to others. 2. Purchase, hire employees, rent office space, and purchase office supplies at standards much higher than market prices. 3. Being passive and slow in working, the efficiency is too low, and no value can be created for a long time. Click to expand the remaining 97 violations. Additional terms: the host shall not disclose or imply the existence of the system itself or the challenge to anyone or in any way. The system has the final right to interpret the definition of violations. Next step: randomly generate profit and loss conversion ratio. The rules are really strict. Pei Qian checked as many as 200 violations, and several plans that had appeared in his mind were rejected one by one. Real estate speculation, purchasing digital currencies, etc., are all prohibited by the system. Normal investment and financial management behaviors are okay, but based on the general annualized rate of return, it may be difficult to meet Pei Qian's needs. There are as many as 200 illegal rules that not only limit the profit activities that Pei Qian can carry out, but also limit the loss-making activities that he can carry out. In short, all evil ways are prohibited. Pei Qian continued to click on the light screen and entered the next step. Randomly generating profit and loss conversion ratio. The profit conversion ratio is 100 to 1. And the loss conversion ratio is 1 to 1. Hey, wait a minute, this ratio. Pei Qian took a closer look and found that there seemed to be a bug. The loss conversion ratio is a bit high? If you lose all the system funds, you can convert the same amount into personal property. Losing money is equivalent to making money. Such a good conversion ratio was randomly generated? I am simply a European emperor. It's a pity that the profit conversion ratio is a bit low, but it doesn't matter, it's much easier to lose money than to make money. Pei Qian feels like his luck has exploded. Last step: please name your company, click here to enter. Pei Qian thought about it and typed in the input box with his mind, Tenda Network Technology Company, Limited. The meaning is prosperity. That is to say, I hope that the company Tenda can grow rapidly. The registration of Tenda Network Technology Company, Limited is completed. After the last step was completed, the text information on the light screen disappeared and returned to the original state of the panel. Wealth Conversion System. Host, Pei Qian. Profit conversion ratio 100 to 1, loss conversion ratio 1 to 1. Next, settlement time, 14 days later. Note, 1 week before settlement, if there are unreleased products, the settlement date will be postponed, and the extension time will be determined by the system. System funds, 50,000. Personal property, 443. Pei Qian checked the meaning of this note. 1 week before settlement, Pei Qian cannot have unreleased products on hand. This makes sense. Without this rule, Pei Qian could put all the company's assets into production the day before settlement, reducing the system funds to zero, which is equivalent to taking advantage of a loophole. With this rule in place, Pei Qian must put all his products on the shelves 1 week before settlement to make a profit. Regardless of whether he makes a profit or loses money, this step cannot be skipped. It's one less way to exploit the loopholes, but it doesn't matter. So, the next thing to do is to change the 50,000 system funds to zero, and then change the 443 personal assets to 50,443. Isn't it just losing money within the rules? I don't think it is difficult. Pei Qian was confident. Open a company normally, create value and develop products normally. Then, as the boss of the company, Pei Qian only needs to deviate from this direction just a little bit and go down the wrong road. Isn't it done? There are very few companies that succeed in starting a business, and there are a lot of companies that fail. Which one is more difficult is obvious. Chapter 2: A small change in the world. Then the question is which field to choose. After thinking carefully, Pei Qian decided to understand the general environment of the world first. Open your laptop, open the Chengdu search engine, and start browsing recent news, especially technology news. There are some changes, but not too big. Pei Qian knew what was going on. Compared with the world in Pei Qian's previous life, this world has not changed much, except that the speed of technological development is faster. Communication technology and information technology are developing rapidly, and digital hardware configurations such as computer chips and graphics cards are also advancing by leaps and bounds. Many technologies that Pei Qian thought appeared in 2015 or even later have already sprouted here. For example, the smartphone boom should have been around 2012, but in this world it was almost universal in 2008, and now there are some high-quality games on mobile phones. In addition, the world's awareness of copyright protection is obviously stronger. Piracy resources in various fields have been comprehensively blocked and severely cracked down, and the threshold for criminal punishment for piracy has been lowered. As for other aspects, not much has changed. The outlet mainly appears in the internet, technology, games, culture, and other industries, which is similar to the previous life. Pei Qian can choose to join any industry, and the system has no restrictions on this. However, while opening a company, in order to create value and avoid being judged as violating the rules by the system, Pei Qian also had to recruit some relevant professionals. It is difficult for Pei Qian to control the direction of an industry he does not understand. What if the professionals he recruits are very capable and get things done? Therefore, Pei Qian thought about it and decided to choose the gaming industry as his first choice. Although Pei Qian has never been in the game industry, he has played so many games and has some understanding of this industry. Compared to other industries, Pei Qian believes that he has stronger control over the gaming industry. A slight change in the gameplay can cause a game to die violently, which is a huge advantage. What's more, the gaming industry burns money very quickly. If the real industry loses money, it can still sell fixed assets, but the compensation is not thorough enough, If the gaming industry loses money, it is a pure loss, and a bunch of codes are worthless. Pei Qian has the memory of 10 years later. As long as he deliberately avoids games that may make money, wouldn't it be enough? The first step is to make a game. The second step is to lose money and convert all system funds into personal property. The third step is to spend it vigorously. Well, it's just so perfect. Pei Qian felt that he was simply a genius. After determining the direction, Pei Qian searched the official website of the Commerce Bureau, downloaded the personal company management terminal, and successfully logged in with his ID number and initial password. There is already a company under his name, namely Tenda Network Technology Company, Limited, and the company account has 50,000 yuan in funds. This should be registered for him by the system's black technology. In the entrepreneurial environment, the situation in the parallel world of easy difficulty is very different from Pei Qian's previous life. In this world, in order to encourage entrepreneurship among all people, the threshold for individuals to start a company is very low. Most of the company's processes have become intelligent and can be completed on the internet and on the client. This is even more advanced than the original world 10 years later, and is very friendly to individual entrepreneurs. There are other changes like this. For example, thanks to the rapid development of communication technology and cloud technology, human resources in many industries have been integrated, greatly improving the efficiency of online office work. Taking the gaming industry as an example, there is a unified official organization, Entertainment Software Rating Organization. The English abbreviation is ESRO, which is responsible for the supervision and review of various games. At the same time, ESRO has also launched an official resource site for entrepreneurs to use. ESRO's official resource site can be seen as a large collection of game resources for the entire domestic game market. Here, you can spend money to buy some general art resources, program templates, and design drafts, and you can also spend money to find some professionals. Customize your own game. These art resources, program templates, etc., are voluntarily shared by other companies or individuals in the industry and are used for a fee. Of course, these are some relatively low-end and common resources. You can also contact some industry experts, such as top painters, on the resource site, and communicate and negotiate business with them directly. In addition, ESRO has also launched an official game editor, which integrates the more common game editors on the market and simplifies the usage. With a period of learning, most people can master it even if they have no programming skills. These changes all occurred within 2 or 3 years of rapid technological breakthroughs, that is, roughly between 2007 and 2009. It is precisely because of the strong support of the game industry from a powerful official organization like ESRO that such changes can occur. Of course, other industries, such as movies, animation, and other cultural industries, have also undergone similar changes, but Pei Qian does not need to understand them for the time being. Let me take a look at the configuration requirements for the client and editor of this resource station. Well, it's okay. My laptop can barely carry it. It's just that there are still limitations to the computer configuration, and I can't play too large a game. It doesn't matter, I don't plan to do a big game anyway. Pei Qian's laptop was bought not long after he enrolled in college. It has only been a few months now, so it can still run the client of the resource station and the editor of ESRO. But also because the notebook Pei Qian bought was only a low to mid-range configuration, the configuration was not very good. It could play ordinary games, but not large-scale ones. This is okay. After all, Pei Qian has no intention of making a large-scale game. There are not enough manpower and funds, and he has no intention of making money. It would be good for him alone to make an independent game that can pass the review process. Pei Qian first opened the editor and studied the editor tutorial carefully. An hour later, Pei Qian fell asleep. You said you can learn it even if you don't have any programming knowledge? Throw it down. Pei Qian was speechless. Although the learning cost of this editor has been significantly reduced compared to programming languages or some traditional game editors, it is still difficult for Pei Qian, who has no programming foundation at all. However, he did learn the relatively simple operations of applying ready-made game templates and changing art resources. It's better to visit the resource station first and analyze the games on the market. Pei Qian entered the resource station and checked some existing resources. There are quite a few types, and various game types, such as simulated driving, fighting, shooting, RPG, etc., have some common templates. These templates are relatively basic and the price is not high. For example, if you add a template for a shooting game to the editor, you can implement a series of basic functions such as walking, shooting, and changing magazines. Some firearms also have default trajectories. If you buy some art resources and paste them up, you can create a very simple shooting game with a single gameplay. If you want to make it complicated, you have to learn some advanced usage of the editor. Some particularly difficult functions still need to be completed by someone on the resource site. Chapter 3: The Lonely Desert Highway. Losing money and becoming the richest man starts from the game. As for the current gaming industry environment, it is basically similar to the situation in Pei Qian's previous life in 2009. For example, the most popular online games at present have changed from Yamaguchi Mountain to Fantasy World, CS has become Anti-Terrorism Plan, and Dota has become Divine Enlightenment. The packaging is different, but the gameplay is very different. Mobile games have improved significantly, perhaps because hardware development is faster than in previous generations. For example, Pei Qian's mobile card game in his previous life benefited from the popularization of smartphones and only appeared in 2012. In the parallel world, since smartphones appeared earlier, similar games already appeared around 2008 and are now very mature. Game type. In that case, the situation is clear. I only need to spend money to purchase templates and art resources on the resource site. I spend all 50,000 yuan, and then the game I make is no one to play and cannot be sold. After 2 weeks, it is equivalent to a total loss. Perfect. After making up his mind, Pei Qian began to search the resource site for the template he wanted. Basic driving simulation template, 20,000 renminbi, comes with a set of vehicle interior and exterior textures. Scene template, desert road template, 15,000. If dynamic environmental changes are required, an additional 8,000 is needed, totaling 23,000. It's a bit expensive, but I just want something expensive. There's still a little money left that hasn't been spent. Radio music, you can choose 30 of the 100 songs, or the system will randomly play them in the music library, 6,000. I have 1,000 yuan left. Well, let's buy a simple ranking function. I can't afford anything else. After thinking about it for a moment, Pei Qian placed an order frantically on the resource site and quickly spent all 50,000 yuan. These resources are honestly not expensive. For example, if you add this basic driving simulation template to the game editor, you can realize the basic functions of a driving simulation game. Throttle, brake, cornering, collision, etc., all available. The desert highway scene itself supports free adjustment of the length of the journey in the editor, and there will be some random changes in the desert scene. With the addition of the environmental change simulation function, there will be environmental changes such as sunrise, sunset, wind, and sand. Because they are all universal templates, many independent game producers will also buy them and use them, so it is 100% likely that they will hit you in the face. In order not to conflict with others, some producers will customize some art resources for replacement. Of course, in that case, the investment will continue to increase. But Pei Qian doesn't care about this. A slap in the face? Hit it. Anyway, I am here to lose money, and I don't want players to stop playing this game because they are in trouble. Pei Qian started making games. Although it will lose money, the game must at least pass ESRO's review and be successfully launched. If it is a semi-finished product with serious missing functions, it will not pass ESRO's review, and the system may determine that Pei Qian violated the regulations. Therefore, no matter how deceptive the game is, its basic functions must be complete. Drag the basic template into the editor, and then drag the scene template into it. Then the big framework of the game is ready. After players enter the game, they can drive their cars on the desert roads. However, purchased resources cannot be wasted. Pei Qian added a radio function to the vehicle. Players can turn on the radio and listen to some random music while driving. They are all niche music or very traditional classic music. It is impossible to buy those popular songs for this amount of money. Next is a more critical question. What is the core gameplay of this game? Pei Qian himself didn't know. Racing? Stop making trouble, I don't have the money to do it. I can only afford a basic template, a car texture, and a scene. Those complicated tracks, beautiful cars, and racing-related gameplay programs are all beyond our reach. How to play if you can't afford it? Pei Qian patted his head and said yes. The core gameplay of the game is very simple, just drive. Drive from the starting point to the end point and you've passed the level. But this alone isn't enough. It's all pieced together from common resources without any gameplay innovation, and it's probably difficult to pass the review. Some changes have to be made to ensure that the game can pass the review, but these changes cannot be too good, and they have to ensure that the game can lose money and no one will play it. Pei Qian thought for a while and stretched out the desert track scene infinitely. The total game time is 8 hours. That's right, players need to drive on this road for 8 hours to reach the end point, and during this period, the desert road will turn every once in a while. It is impossible for players to pass the level by pressing only one button. In this way, the gameplay will be different from the general driving simulation games on the market, and it should be able to pass the review. Moreover, such a deceptive gameplay should not be scolded by the players. This game can only make money. Pei Qian was very excited and felt like a genius. Finally, I used a very simple method to create a game clearance interface, which just displays one line of text. Congratulations, you successfully wasted 8 precious hours of your life. Even if someone does manage to pass the level, he has to be so angry that he never plays my company's games again. Don't waste the ranking function you purchased. Make a waste of time ranking and count the number of clearances and effective game time of each player. This ranking list is useless, it is just to arrange the functions that you spend money to buy. 3 times, 5 times, and 2 times, it was quickly completed. These functions are all basic among the functions supported by the editor. You only need to perform some simple operations of dragging and changing parameters, which is almost as easy as having your hands on it. Learning the editor by yourself, buying resources, and making games all add up to less than 2 hours. Such a retarded game, I'm going to lose. Pei Qian finished the game and tried it on his computer. Then I quit the game after 5 minutes and almost vomited. When you go in, you just drive, it's so boring. Pei Qian was very satisfied and immediately released the game. Game name, Lonely Desert Highway. Game introduction, driving alone on a desert road for a few hours, you will get some thoughts about life. When writing the introduction, Pei Qian was very confused. Bragging yourself? It's not appropriate. What if it really attracts a group of clickbait enthusiasts and loses money? Black yourself? It's not appropriate either. It's too obvious. On the one hand, you're worried about being judged as violating the rules by the system. On the other hand, you're also worried about stimulating the player's rebellious psychology. The more you say this game is rubbish, the more he'll want to play it. What should I do? Therefore, Write the introduction honestly so that players will not be interested once they see the introduction. Then there's pricing. Pei Qian set a price of 1 yuan for the game. He didn't want to set it too high, but if it was too high, some idiots would buy it out of their wits, and he would lose less money. The price is low enough that even if dozens of players buy it, it will have no impact on Pei Qian's losses. After everything was done, Pei Qian uploaded the game and waited for the game to be approved and automatically put on the official game platform. This process generally takes from a few hours to 2 or 3 days. The official platform has a fully automatic recommendation effect. New games of the same batch are automatically recommended based on changes in data. Unless there is malicious ranking manipulation, the management staff will not intervene. Pei Qian is not worried at all. It's such a rubbish game. No one will care about it after it's released. It will be cool at the speed of light. When the 2 weeks are up, it will be 50,000 yuan, wouldn't it be wonderful? Pei Qian closed his laptop, feeling relaxed and happy. Chapter 4: Looking for Junk Game. At noon, the roommates came back one after another. Ma Yang was holding a plastic bag in his hand, which contained the food he had just bought from the canteen. Brother Qian, are you so brave? You really don't go to class? But you're lucky this time. The vice dean didn't mention you by name. Ma Yang looked like you're so lucky. The other roommates opened their laptops. There's no class in the afternoon, come on, is it dark? Open, hurry up. Ma Yang, where are you? Wait a minute, I haven't finished my meal yet. Hold on, you're just dawdling, who's going to call someone in the other dormitory? Everyone else in the dormitory had already set up small tables on their beds and opened their laptops. The school's accommodation is so difficult that they don't even have access to a bed or a desk, so they can only sit cross-legged on the bed and play games. Pei Qian has always suspected that his waist discomfort was caused by this problem. Therefore, in order to get the best gaming experience, many students will still go to internet cafes even if they have their own computer and can play games in their dormitory. Ma Yang held a stainless steel rice bowl with food wrapped in plastic bags. He took a few bites, lifted the plastic bag, and threw the whole thing into the trash can. Fortunately today, I had classes in the morning, so I went to the cafeteria to buy some and eat them. If there is no class in the morning, then everyone will lie on the bed together. When the first person decides to go to the cafeteria, others will immediately start asking for help. Of course, food delivery appeared later, but there was no food delivery software at that time. All orders were made by phone, and poor students with poor family conditions would run errands and work part-time jobs to earn some living expenses. Ma Yang went outside and shouted, and the seats in the game room were quickly occupied. Pei Qian looked at the computer screen. It was a 5v5 battle game called God's Inspiration. The gameplay was similar to that of Dota, but the packaging was completely different. In terms of time, the popularity of League of Legends also started in 2011. Although there was a game in 2009, it was too rough to look like. Moreover, that was the situation in Pei Qian's memory before. Now, the world has changed so much, it is still unclear whether League of Legends will appear. At this time, MMORPG dominated the internet cafes, and the most popular game was called Fantasy World. Games like Xinqi are indeed popular, but they are obviously more popular in dormitories, because it is not a pure online game. It can also be played in internet cafes and has a battle platform, but its popularity is still not as high as that of MMORPG. Brother Qian, why do you feel like you are so stupid today, and haven't woken up yet? Ma Yang was a little confused about Pei Qian's status today. 981, are you coming? Pei Qian shook his head. No, you can find someone else first. Okay, then I'll get Lao Wang next door. Ma Yang didn't ask any further questions. Soon, the dormitory and the next door dormitory started to shout. Hey, there's no one in the middle, so be careful where you wander. Fuck, how did he kill me? Ha ha ha, 3 of them fought and 1 of them was killed, you idiot. Pei Qian stood behind Ma Yang and watched him quickly click on the screen with his mouse and tap on the keyboard with his left hand, making the keyboard of the laptop crackle, very like a master. Looking at the results again, the team's head count was 10-9 in the first 10 minutes, while Ma Yang's record was 0-0. His teammates were playing anxiously, and he missed a knife under the tower. Pei Qian couldn't help but sigh. It was great that everyone was young in 2009 and could still experience the fun of the game. After he started working on his own, he bought a lot of games, all of which were good. However, after he bought them, they all fell into dust and he couldn't even remember to open them. I work so hard every day that when I lie on the sofa after get off work, I just want to browse the web and watch live broadcasts. I am too lazy to even move my fingers to play a mobile game, let alone play such a game that requires frequent operations. Fortunately, everything is different now. As long as you lose all the system funds, you can make money while lying down, without any struggle at all, and be a happy salted fish. Pei Qian was lying on the bed, happily thinking about his future life. So, how should we spend the first 50,000 yuan? You have to build a high-end computer first, right? Then go out and rent a house and live a shameless life. He, Pei Qian couldn't help but laugh out loud. Then this is the end of this issue of Trash Game Complaints. If you, the viewers, think this video is good, please don't forget to collect, share, and subscribe. In a rental house in the imperial capital, a plump young man with thick eyebrows, dull eyes, and a depressed expression was sitting in front of a computer, recording a video. He is a well-known up-owner in the game area of Fanshu. His birth name is Chao Liang, and his online name is ChuzuiLast. He is also affectionately called the godfather of the game channel by fans, because he always calls daddy at the end of every program. As a full-time up host, although Chao Liang is somewhat famous and has many fans, this is 2009 after all, and in this environment, he is basically still living a life of one meal and one meal. After receiving the video of a meal, you can feel proud and go out to a restaurant for a good meal. If I can't receive a video of a meal, I have to eat noodles with a bowl of clear soup. I have to endure hunger to lose weight. Chao Liang tried many directions, but in the end, the column Trash Game Complaints was the most popular, with a relatively high number of views and attracting a group of fans who love games. Chao Liang also has a column called Recommended New Tours this month, which is specially used for lunch. After all, his popular column is called Complaints About Garbage Games, and no game company would dare to post it to this column if they ask him to make a video about eating. Therefore, Chao Liang made another new game recommendations for the month to catch up on the fun, but the attention of this series was far behind compared to Trash Game Complaints. After the recording of the new issue of Garbage Game Complaints was completed, Chao Liang has not released it yet. Because I always feel like something is missing. Well, yes, a little bit of soul is missing. This game seems to be rubbish and has no features. After writing the copy, carefully creating the materials, and dubbing, Chao Liang felt that this program was acceptable, but no matter how he thought about it, it seemed difficult to achieve a hit point. This game is so bad that it has no topic. This gave Chao Liang a headache. After all, he relied on this to make a living. If the number of views of the video did not increase, it would be difficult to receive better videos for dinner. Therefore, Chao Liang was not in a hurry to release this video. Instead, he habitually opened the recommended list of new games on the official platform and started digging for gold. Before that, he felt a little hungry, so he dug out a pack of instant noodles and boiled a pot of water to get some energy. The water was boiling, and Chao Liang continued to search for new games. Lonely Desert Highway? What the hell kind of game is this? Chao Liang saw the introduction of this game. A simulated driving journey to think about life? How to think about life. This introduction slightly aroused Xiao Liang's curiosity. As a full-time video author in the game area, Xiao Liang basically plays the games that he is slightly interested in. He clicked to download the game. Soon, the game was downloaded and opened automatically. Chapter 5. This game can really make people think about life. Huh? This is the beginning. The water in the electric kettle hadn't boiled yet, so Xiao Liang ignored it for the time being and entered the game. There is nothing at the beginning of the game, no opening animation, and no various options, just enter the scene directly. In the vast desert, a road winds and stretches into the distance. The perspective of the game is in the car, and there is a simple instruction interface. The operation methods are divided into keyboard and controller, which is exactly the same as the mainstream racing games on the market. Xiao Liang looked at this picture and felt that this operation was okay. After all, this is a set of templates, the upper limit is not high, and the lower limit is not very low either. Xiao Liang took the controller from the side, connected it to the computer, and started the game. The car started. Xiao Liang drove forward along the desert road. The time in the game now is morning, the sun has just risen, and the light is not so dazzling yet. The sand in the desert is constantly flying, and you can see bursts of sandstorms in the distance. These sandstorms will affect the game's field of vision, sometimes making visibility very low. The desert road winds forward, not in a straight line, but with turns at intervals. Click. The water in the kettle has boiled. Xiao Liang was driving the car, lost in thought. What am I doing? What should I do? What does this game want me to do? He had been driving for 3 minutes and had indeed turned a few corners, but other than that he didn't see anything that interested him. Driving, turning, watching the wind and sand blowing in the distance, other than that, there is nothing else in this game. Even on this desert road, no other cars passed by. Xiao Liang wanted to soak the noodles first and subconsciously pressed the menu button. The result was nothing. Xiao Liang? In other games, pressing this button will pause it, but in this game, there is no response at all. Xiao Liang thought there was a bug in the game and it did not support controllers. He pressed the ESC key, spacebar, and enter key on the keyboard one after another. Still no response. This game cannot be paused. Xiao Liang was shocked. While he was in shock, he didn't pay attention to controlling the direction of the car. He missed a turn and ran off the road, causing his tires to sink into the sand. Game over. 8 simple letters appeared on the screen. Xiao Liang opened his mouth wide, and his whole body fell into a daze. This game refreshed his understanding of bad games. No, strictly speaking, this is not a bad game. Bad games are often caused by insufficient levels of producers, insufficient funds, and gaps in objective capabilities. They can only compromise on some aspects, giving players a feeling of being shoddy. But that's not the case with this game. It seems to be disgusting. Otherwise, why doesn't it even have a pause function, and every time it fails, it just directly game overs, and there is no save point? Wait, this game seems interesting. If you make a complaint video, maybe it will go viral? Xiao Liang hurriedly soaked the noodles in hot water, and then ate while studying the name and introduction of the game. A lonely desert road. I also specially emphasized the word lonely. A simulated driving journey to think about life. Well, indeed, I am really thinking about life. This introduction did not lie to me at all. It seems like this game is really full of malice. The company that developed this game is called Tenda Network Technology Company, Limited. I've never heard of it. This seems to be their only game. TSK. After finishing the instant noodles, Xiao Liang picked up the handle again. But this time, he opened the video recording software and prepared to record the entire process of his game. 3 hours later. Xiao Liang's spirit relaxed a little, and he failed to turn a corner. The car sank into the sand, and the game was over. Ah. Fuck. Xiao Liang almost smashed the handle on the table in anger. 3 hours. After driving in the desert without doing anything for 3 hours, Game Over on the screen ruthlessly announced his failure. 3 precious hours of his life were just taken away from him, creating no value except wasting electricity. The recorded video is also useless. Of the entire 3 hours of recording, only the last few seconds are available, which can be cut into the failure highlights. Xiao Liang threw the controller on the computer table and stood up to calm down. He didn't drop the controller because he was poor. After all, this handle costs more than 200 yuan. If it breaks, Xiao Liang will be very distressed. Calm. It's all about work. Great, this game managed to make me angry, which is a very good trait for a crappy game. Xiao Liang quickly regained his composure. As a owner who specializes in complaining about garbage games, I have never seen any big storms. I should be able to handle such a small scene. However, Xiao Liang also realized that it was not an easy task to get through this game. It's a challenge. So, Xiao Liang called and ordered takeout. Fortunately, the game ended early. If it had been later, the takeout would not have been delivered. Taking advantage of this time, Xiao Liang lay on the bed and took a nap to regain his energy. After waking up and eating enough, Xiao Liang put a large glass of water on the table and prepared for a long battle. He already kind of understands the game. Is this game difficult? No. It is no exaggeration to say that you can pass the level with your hands. There are no sharp corners, no police cars that will rush to cause trouble, and there are no requirements on the player's speed. The only difficulty is time. It took less than 3 hours to complete the entire journey, and I still don't know how long the journey will be. In order to finish the race quickly, players will habitually accelerate and run at the maximum speed of the vehicle, but this requires more concentration, otherwise they may not be able to turn in time when encountering a curve. Once you get off the track, it's all over again. If you want to be safer, you have to drive slower, but this way, the game time will be longer. Cheating, really cheating. Xiao Liang felt that his desire to challenge and complain was as high as ever. If this game could be made into a rant video, the title alone would attract a lot of clicks. Xiao Liang gritted his teeth and continued to fight in the game. More than 8 hours later. Late at night. Fuck. I've cleared the level, I've cleared it, I actually cleared it. Xiao Liang almost wanted to cry, he finally saw the finish line. It was a very common finish line, seemingly using common art resources found in many racing games, but to Xiao Liang at this time, the black and white grid finish line on the ground was so kind. It literally brought tears to my eyes. He took the controller and stood up from the computer chair. My back aches, my hands are a little cramped, and my eyes can hardly be opened because I stayed up too late. But, for 8 whole hours, I persevered. It all makes sense. Xiao Liang was so moved. What kind of spirit is this? The moment he crossed the finish line, Xiao Liang felt like he was possessed by the car god. At this time, he was the most handsome guy on the track. But then, the screen went black and a line of words appeared. Congratulations, you successfully wasted 8 precious hours of your life.